music?
When we travel the world, you see both. You see that there are completely different ways of thinking about music that would never occur to you, which are fascinating. You know what I mean? We travel to Turkey and we travel to Beirut, you know, in Africa, and you know, sometimes in Istanbul, I'd say to the guys, wait, how are you counting that? You know, or Indian musicians, wait, what are you thinking when you play that? You know, but then you also find a lot of similarities. You know what I mean? When you play, and you know, you're saying to yourself, you know, you're doing a concert and you're playing a very American piece of music, and you see these people react to it, and you're going, well, I know what they listen to on a regular basis. How are they even feeling this? You know what I mean? But you begin after you spend some time to hear the similarities and hear what's common. And now I'm looking to kind of exploit that commonality. I'm looking to make mixes of stuff, man. Stuff that's going on in India and Istanbul. There's some funky stuff in there, you know. It's got its own flavor, and I would love to show people the similarities. We had an Istanbul Project. It was a concert. It was done in Istanbul, and it was my band along with 5 or 6 really prominent Turkish musicians, and we did a concert together where we both brought music to the situation, and we rehearsed, and we had this dialogue to try to find a commonality, and it was fantastic. That's when you know, I heard odd meters played in a folky way. You know, a lot of Americans play odd meters, and it's an intellectual exercise. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, but they don't know how to dance to that. You know what I mean? But when I got to Istanbul and I saw it go, and all of a sudden I went, oh, this is an organic feeling. You know, this is the real way to play odd meters. You know, so we learned a lot. They learned a lot because, you know, everyone has an idea of what American music should sound like, what jazz should sound like. We go, no, that's not quite it. Here, listen, you know, see if you can get a little bit. It's like teaching somebody to speak with a more authentic accent, you know what I mean? And that's what we did for each other, and it was fantastic. The concert was called the Istanbul Project, and I'm sure we'll do it again because we had a great time, and maybe we'll record it, but that was the first step. Oh yeah, the oud is
Like so.
yeah. I mean, but
I
it's
feel like that way about the accordion. So
yeah. I mean, I never tried to play it, so it looks like a guitar, but it looks like a primitive, like you really have to figure something out to play. There's a kora from Africa that's an amazing instrument. You know what I mean? That's works on a pentatonic scale, like a bluesy kind of scale. Man, it's really incredible. It's really as you travel, man, you start to see the differences and the similarities. And the important thing is to accent the similarities so everybody can start to feel involved. The other thing I've noticed is that people aren't deferring to America and American culture like they used to. You know, 30 years ago, man, you know, you go to these different countries, they were like, we want to know what you know. You know, you're American, you guys are leaders. Now, you know, I'm in Nigeria, man, and they're like, hey, you know, we're really trying to promote the Nigerian sound. We're going back to the high life. We're bringing back the high life. You know what I mean? We're going back to what we have because everyone's starting to assert their independence, their cultural independence. And if Americans sleep on that, we're going to get left in the dark too. If you keep thinking, well, I'm just American, you know, I'm going to go there and I'm going to play my stuff and everybody's going to bow down, it's not like that, man. And we're doing jazz festivals where 20 years ago, there was, you know, 75% Americans. We're doing jazz festivals now, man, in Europe where we're the only Americans, you know, and they got people from all over the world playing, you know, so things are changing. And Europeans just in general, because a lot of the heyday of European countries happened 200, 300 years ago, they're raised to respect the past and to preserve the past. So now that jazz has its own history, okay, they know how to preserve it. They're the ones who have the festivals that are state sponsored. They're the ones who learn this music by doing research, you know. In America, we're all about today and tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's hard to get a kid in America to do research. If it's not right there in his neighborhood in front of him, he's like, hey, man, I don't want to hear about it. So all of a sudden, you're seeing all these guys from all over the world playing jazz, and Americans getting left behind on the jazz tip.
It's true.
It's like when the Dream Team, man, formed,
Oh,
man,
yeah, yeah.
and it had Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, Charles Barkley all on the same team, and they were just killing people. And the coaches of these foreign countries were saying, that's okay. We want to get killed. We want to know what it feels like. We want to really taste it and feel it and see it. And all of a sudden, man, you know what? We got more and more NBA players coming from places like Lithuania, man, and South America and all over the world because they saw it, they tasted it, man, and now they're starting to kind of get it together. The same thing's happening with jazz. And there's more adventurous people playing overseas in terms of jazz, because jazz is coming out of this real conservative period here in the States, and you know, which is cool, but a lot of Europeans are trying to combine it with electronic music, combine it with this, combine it with this music from this region, and there's a lot of experimentation going on, you know, that are exciting people.
Boom. So Marcus, what was your first musical instrument?